Yeah, I think let's get started with what's the one to get started? Yeah, I mean, do we think Hood starts off the day for us today? We think Hood?
I mean, dude, we're just saying Hood $50 support, my man.
$50 support in 2025.
It's not resistance. This is support. I don't know. So this is a big. Okay, it was a big deal at 40 something when we talked about Hood getting back over that kind of like IPO pop from way back over here. This is 33 and change, and they actually had a little bit more of overhead supply at $40, right? And then we saw this kind of like chopping action around 40, and we're like, what do we say? There's no such thing as a triple top. So the fourth go, it breaks. So it was 1, 2, 3. Number 4 is the one, and we're off to the races. I had 52 and change for this press to the upside. We are pretty much exactly there right now. So that's just this consolidation from here to here. If I took that and I doubled it, that'll take it to 454. But halfway point, we are on it right now. So I think this is good. I don't know that this is over. It's up there for sure. Today's close is neutral, to be fair, but it's been so gappy where it like gaps up and kind of pulls back a little bit and then closes at the highs. This is net bullish, man. So I think what we're seeing here on Robinhood is, yeah, possibly a little bit of pre-earnings run plus some crypto catalyst. But I think it's all justified, right? That's in the very near term, very myopic view. I really could care less what the near-term catalysts are for Hood of why it's popping over 50 right now, because I think it does grow into it longer term anyways. And that's why we're both like, dude, is this even a bad spot to buy it, right? Like at this, like
I almost bought at 50 today, but I was like, maybe I'm being a little too like greedy. Like, let me just chill for a bit.
I know. So instead, I bought a little Tesla because that was a little bit red. I didn't buy Apple, but I ended up buying a small call option just as a YOLO, just in case, because it's close. It's not there yet, but it was very close for me. And then what else do we do?
I'm officially in the NVIDIA club, bro.
Oh, I heard.
Now every time I see
how many of the guys are on the Redwire train though? Because good God,
RKLB, because this one.
Oh, so we talked about this was yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, we were live yesterday. Yeah, we were.
We're live. Yeah. So like when he talked about space, and then Redwire last night, I think it was, with the $1 billion acquisition getting rewarded by the market. I mean, that's massive.
Wait, what do you mean $1 billion acquisition?
What's that?
What $1 billion acquisition? What are you talking about?
Redwire.
They had $1 billion acquisition today?
Yesterday.
So they bought something for $1 billion?
And they got rewarded. Drone deal from Manufacturing Edge. So it's a $925 million buying military drone manufacturers. So this is military contracts. Wow. So they're getting the drone pump and they're in space.
Dude, drones are like Palantir wants to invest in drones. There's a lot.
So it's a double whatever.
There's a lot of hype.
Yeah, that's a big win already. We talked about last time, like around 15s. It got actually below that. But holy hell, this is a big one.
Okay, so let's not do this yet. Let's do space altogether because I want to do all the space stocks. So let's go to NVIDIA. Let's do that one.
But NVIDIA is not space, or is it space?
No, I know. So we'll do space.
Is it space?
I mean, it's probably space in some way.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably space.
Now that I'm in this name, every CapEx news I see, I get happy. I'm like, oh, that's more spending for NVIDIA. So
yeah, and we talked about this last time. So the pickup was at like 130 that we mentioned last Tuesday when we do every Tuesday, right? After this consolidation, and we were watching how do they react right in this area. So this is when I bought it. We looked at the contracts that we were kind of eyeing. I think on a broader view, if I just hide these drawings for a little bit and you just look at the chart, right? So the chart, it could have been like, oh, it's coming down, but then we get this big pop and ended up being like a sell-off. But the buyers stepped in once again. So you look at this 130, and we mentioned this very specific area because the last downtrend that was broken, this was that big kind of cluster of where they were buying here or selling here. And so what we were looking at these sellers from this area right here, do they become buyers? And that's exactly what ended up happening. So I think at this point so I'm still in the camp of like, why would you want to be short NVIDIA coming into earnings season with all the CapEx, yes, that they're gonna talk about? I couldn't get behind that idea. And then the commentary today, did you tell them about what the Trump thing was? Amit, is he muted? He's muted.
Dude, what is going on with my computer? I'm going to fight something today. Why is it muting randomly?
I don't know.
Yes, we talked about the $500 billion investment with Trump.
Well, it was something about like AI.
It's the thing that he's supposed to be live about right now that he's not live on. But Sam Altman, SoftBank, and Oracle investing $500 billion over the next 4 years.
Yeah. So I think in general, just opening up the floodgates to say that, yes, we want to be a big part in this AI thing. And if we're not, then we're going to be playing catch up. But that sentiment from a policy perspective, I think is a big deal. Plus, yes, we're going to get all the notes on like the footnotes of how much the Mag 7, the hyperscalers, cloud providers, etc. Why do they always go with you need to get a new mic? You guys, it's not his mic.
It's my incompetence, but I don't know why I'm being incompetent today. Like, this is being stupid, bro. It's just weird.
So this looks good, right? I think that this ends up being probably real. And so I will say my target's going to be in the 165s as we get into earnings. So this is a month away. This is a little bit early for a pre-earnings run, if you will. But I think NVIDIA makes a lot of the move well ahead of their actual report, right? So that's what I think we're going to see. And as the mega caps report, like Amazon, Meta, Google, etc., and they report on how much CapEx they're spending, like Amit saying, these are all, every time you hear that, that's going to be a catalyst for NVIDIA from here moving forward.
So, okay, so I bought at 139 today. You think what would you grade my entry for a first time NVIDIA buyer on that? I feel like it's like a C.
Is your first buy?
First buy ever of NVIDIA. Yeah. I think it's a C+. I would grade.
Yeah, I was thinking the C.
You couldn't give me the plus, bro? Damn, you got to be so like.
We can with the C. I mean, plus? It's all right. It's all right.
I think I'll probably have to DCA back at 130 if we get some volatility.
I don't think so.
You don't think 130 is as easily?
No, I think that's done, right? And we talked about this, how to be a sniper kind of thing, right? Like we talked about this in terms of we're looking at if this is your last low here, right? Remember this? Remember this conversation? We were like, if this is your last low and we want to see, is a stock in a bottom? What I want to do is I want to look at the low right before the last low and say, okay, does it hold that level? So it never closed below that 132. So you basically waited till you're fully clear. 139. It depends on your time horizon. I might actually give you a B plus, maybe if you're near term. Because by the way, you guys, check this out. So I will give you a B plus because, and I don't know if you're actually doing this, if you could justify to me exactly why you said 139, why you hit the button at 139, that would be and I won't put you to the test here, but if your reasoning was because
the reason was Pelosi, that was
nasty. So that brings you back down to a C minus, dude. If you said it was because it was over this Thursday 16th high and we were breaching, that would be a B plus from a near-term perspective, because this moment here, let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. So see that candle? When you have this is like a failed downward momentum, but as it's going over, which happens to be 138.75, that is a long trigger from a near-term perspective if you're looking at candles. Daily candlesticks.
I can't wait till I get to the point where I can say, well, it was over the 168 Fibonacci, and so I saw the lower low.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna get there by the end of this year.
But we would call this a break of structure. So the structure was trying to be bearish, and we can look at it like even in the early hours, it breached. So this is the high, and in the morning as it's coming down, but then you see it going back up over yesterday's high. and about to break this Thursday high. If that was your reasoning in this moment right here, B plus, maybe more.
That's fair. That is fair. Nancy does have some better ROI than technicals, you could argue. I agree. Okay, can we look at Tessie?
Yeah. So Tesla was the one I was like, because it was red. I was like, all right, I'll buy it.
Before we get into it, why do you think it was red today?
I just think it was. So we talked about the same exact level. So 430s was potential, kind of like that last little congestion area. So I think there's still some sellers sitting at 430. I think when things are getting a little overheated, we are seeing some profit taking versus before, versus when, like, if they're super overheated, are they just getting pushed to the gas? Are people still pressing the gas? No, I think people are a little bit more conscious of what's going on. So big movement right into overhead resistance. So that makes sense to me why it would pull back a little bit. But this, again, I'm gonna pull up some of these lines, but we talk about certain simple moving averages being the 20-day, the 50-day, the 200-day. This white line here is the 20-day simple moving average that actually saved it today. I don't know that it's out of the woods, but 414.50, again, Tesla. Last Tuesday, we talked about if you want to be getting long Tesla now, because the 350 didn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen. So it's this 415 area. This is 2021 all-time high. That's going to, if I hide all these runs again, and I take all these lines off. If you were a chartist, you'd be like, okay, this is a big cup, and then you want to see a little handle. And so that's essentially where we are. And as you zoom in and you put that line all the way across, that's 414.50. We closed above it, right? And so what's true today is that we didn't close on the lows. I think that we're probably going to start seeing a lot of inflows too. But in general, you still, like, I don't really want to be short Tesla with Doge in the house right now.
Did you see the Doge website?
No.
Let me just show this real quick. The Doge website. Oh, you type it in. Yeah. Go just type in Doge. It'll pop up. Doge. Type in Doge website. Type in Doge website. Yeah. Doge website. Be first one. The logo is going to drive people crazy. Dude, the logo's a freaking dog from the crypto coin. Like, it's insane. They legit made it the logo.
I mean,
legit made it the logo.
It's Elon, dude.
It's Elon, dude.
And it says wow. What does wow stand for? What is this wow?
This is an official government thing. And there you go.
What is this? US. Oh, this is a cool website.
Oh, hold on. We just got no, this is the wrong thing. What are we doing? This is not freaking.
Did we just get fished?
We got fished. This is a meme coin website. Okay, but the actual Doge logo is definitely the dog because I saw that.
All right, dude.
That's ridiculous, bro.
White House?
No.
Doge.gov.
Oh, Doge.gov, is that a thing? Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for. There you go.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's insane, right? It's insane.
Wait, this is it?
I believe this is it, yeah.
Oh, that's too funny, dude. It's still, it's still a Shiba. It's
still a Shiba. Holding on to the theme of it. Do you think Tesla also fell because of the EV mandate going away today?
Could have. But I think it so to me it looked like a buying opportunity. A little bit, like not a great one, but something that's like, dude, if you're itching, like I had a little itchy trigger finger today, not gonna lie. So it was like, okay, this is one where I really wouldn't have a hard time in here, because like, why would you not want to be long Tesla? And I'm already, mind you, I'm long Tesla like more recently down in here, right? And I've done nothing, quite frankly, dude, I've done nothing but like destroy my cost basis anyway. So it's just like every little whatever, it's just been okay. When in doubt, buy hood Tesla right now. But anyways, so long story short, this little channel right here, I think is what we want to see hold. We still want to see it hold that 20-day simple, but more importantly, that's 414.50, right? And so back to 2021 all-time highs, depending on your time horizon, I think as close to 400 as you can. I'm not going to split hairs on this at this point, right? Like I just, to me, it's more like, okay, we're at the beginning of the year. Do I want to be long Tesla or not this year? And that's the question, right? And if I do, okay, where am I going to start accumulating if and when, right? And so I think it's below that 415 level. Again, as close to 400 as you can. But now even the 50-day simple is like at 300. So the 350 potential is like out the window. I don't know that it's out of the weeds yet, but even this setup here is pretty bullish. So what stopped it today was around 430, right? So now that becomes an area of interest. And so we need to start paying attention to what do they do when we get back to here? Are these guys still selling? So can you see this mark here on the chart? I think this is because of what happened today. So they're buyers below. So they were buyers below 415, but they're running into this overhead resistance. Does this make sense?
Right.
And so this is essentially exactly that. It's 432. So if we can, if these sellers run out of ammo, like if maybe there's somebody's trimming their position, or maybe there's somebody that's getting short at 430. If Tesla as a trajectory starts to go a little bit higher, comes back over 430 and then holds, we're going to see a very similar situation that we saw in Palantir Live the other day. Is like, what did they do? So it's going to be 430, 432, give or take, of whoever was selling here. Are they buying it back if we get it back up there, or do they continue, or does this continue to sell? And does it get back up here, and do they hit it again? And this maybe goes back a little bit lower to 390s, right? That's all possible. So either one of those scenarios, you're not out of the weeds yet, but eventually you want to see it over 430. I would be a buyer longer term, much below, as far below as that as you can. But if it's over 430, then we're poof off to the races.
Couple things. Yeah, we'll do Rocket Lab real quick. I just got a notification from Wall Street Journal. Apparently, Netflix is raising their prices. They just said that on the call. Probably that's another reason why it's pumping. So that's great for Netflix. And then number two, Trump is not live yet, guys. As soon as he's live, Palantir might be up 1% because of this AI announcement, but Trump's not live yet.
Oh, dude, I took down some of that near-term trade. How do we not do Palantir?
No, but
I was so close to closing my short-term options on this morning. Very close.
Palantir should be quicker than the other ones. Okay, so
I held through. So 71, I had this line. So 71, it was that same exact level. We saw this again. So remember, we were live the other day, and we're like, hey, dude, we're not usually live together while the market's open. It's a 71 area. I wanted to see 72 and change hold, but it didn't. So I was very close to closing the whole thing, and I didn't, because the market was just so bullish. But this is Friday, and that level came from here, right? So this is, and I'll zoom out just a little bit so you guys can see this a little bit better. So this is all of this accumulation, boom, 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 where they were buying, right? And now the question was, when they got back up here, because they started to sell one time, right? These guys sold it here, and I'm going to drop in time frames to a smaller time frame so we can see a little bit better. So they sold. So the idea is, whoever was buying here, what are they going to do when we return? Because at a certain point down here, they were underwater. And this is your technical analysis 101, right? Like, the chart is telling you a story. You got to be able to read it like a book, right? And so they have the opportunity, whoever bought here had the opportunity to sell here for break even. The question is, do they take that opportunity to get out for break even? Or if they were people getting long, or do short sellers, or was this someone like trying to press it down up in here as a short seller, and do they cover down here? That's the question. And so this was Thursday when we saw it live, literally like to the penny, all of this. And then this morning it stopped it once again. So what did they do? They actually bought it again, but they bought it even like heavier. So this was a pretty good price. Actually, this is a intraday pretty bullish sign. The only reason I was like kind of torn, because you have a 20-day simple right at overhead. So there's a lot of overhead resistance. So I think that number one is one reason why it came down technically. But watching this price action get bought up, this is that characteristic of what were we talking about? Like as we move forward from here, we want to see what is the characteristic in the market. Or do we go back to every dip gets bought, or are they still pretty hesitant? And an opening day like this for Palantir, all I can tell you is that it's not going lower right now, because the bears, and think about it this way, the bears had more than enough opportunity right here to flush it. Like this was their opportunity. If they couldn't, that means it's got to go higher in near term. And to close on the highs today after having a pretty brutal opening session, that's pretty bullish.
It kind of feels like 64 was that drawdown that was exhausting sellers. And now we're getting buyers coming in at this point.
Yeah, so we talked about this before. We can see this pre-earnings kind of sellers, everybody kind of like a little maybe squeamish coming into earnings, pretty hot. I don't know that this really explodes out of this box. I don't think it will ahead of earnings. So I think it kind of chops up in this area. But if it gets to 76, that was that near-term upside target on this bounce. And then just kind of wait and see, right? Because a setup, as a Palantir shareholder, I actually don't want to see it cranking over 80 ahead of the report. That then we go into that funky setup where it's like, we're getting set up where it could disappoint expectations,
right.
If expectations are too hot.
Okay, can we do SOFI? And guys, Trump is not live. I'll switch as soon as he is.
Dude, SOFI, what a beast. I mean,
it's a great day.
It was a great day across the board. Like it was really hard for me. So we talked about this, what we called broad information. And this was, what do we call it? Do you guys in the chat remember? Price discovery.
Price discovery. Right.
Yeah. So where we will get a series of both higher highs. So high, higher high, low, lower low, both higher highs and higher lows. I'm sorry, lower lows and higher highs. So this is the definite. And we said it can come down here, but then it can make new highs at the same time. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So this is your setup. We have price discovery mode. I think on a longer term perspective, this chart is just looking absolute beast mode. It's really hard to deny this at this point, especially holding. Last we talked about was around 14. If you could, that's 1460 right in here. And that first IPO week, 1394. So we got those little dips. This is ideal. I don't think there's a whole lot more to go before earnings. It's Monday, right? So maybe we hit the top.
Let me ask you a question. Someone said 2250 if we get there before earnings would make things really wonky going into earnings.
Yeah. So what I'd like to see is the same thing. I don't want to see a setup come into earnings too hot, right? So I'd like to see it just kind of like hover around this trajectory. So that means I don't really want to see it actually over 20 ahead of earnings. So yeah, we'll call this broad information megaphone if you're old school enough, for sure. But this is a form of price discovery where the market's trying to decide where do we really need to go. But I think at this point we've more or less decided, and so now the center line of this area, which is going to be around like 16, I believe, right here, ends up being that pivot point. So $16. So I know it's 18, almost might be looking at 20. It's crazy because it's a small dollar stock. It's traded like a low float. But I'd like to see it just kind of like chop up this trajectory here. 22s though, like, yeah, that's no good. 22 is, I mean, how many percent is that?
That's another from here, 22 minus 18 divided by 18. That would
be
days. 20%, 25% in a couple days. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would very much expect that to be a beat and skeet scenario if we did see that. That's exactly the scenario.
Okay, well,
But
hold on. Here's another question. The shorts, do you think they're gonna let SoFi get a beat in skeet as easily? It's still 12% short.
I really think that this is going to be a very telling quarter. There's this very weird part of me that's thinking we might not get the skeet. Like a little part of me. So I'm here. I'm with you in terms of like, I don't think it's horrible to like oversize ahead of earnings and then right size during earnings or just before earnings day, because we're obviously getting the little pre-earnings pop. And then if you do get the skeet, again, you got to wait the 3-day rule. So 3 days or so to cool off. It won't be next week. It'll be the week after. That you really just like, then you really take a look after the market can kind of digest this. But this is a damn good looking chart, man. Like it's as good as hood, dude. Long term.
I agree.
Right. So this is the hood chart. They're not too dissimilar, and they're all reminiscent of Palantir right here. This is in the 20s, dude. So they're all very reminiscent of Palantir at the 30 mark. Dude.
I mean, look, if Noto drops
look.
hammer,
This is Palantir at 30. And we're essentially looking at candles that look like this. This is what those look like.
Yeah.
Not speculating, but
also, if there was ever going to be a quarter for SoFi to reverse the trend of dumping on earnings, it would be after every single bank just said that their businesses are.
Yeah, I mean, the deregulation thing. I really need to start using SoFi because I've never been like, I think, but I don't know because I don't use it a lot. Like, I mean, you guys, can you use, like, if you held $1 million worth of, I don't know, Tesla in a SoFi brokerage, can you use that as collateral on a loan?
I don't think you can yet.
So that's the switch to me. Like once SoFi, so here's the Super Bowl case. If SoFi can flip a switch to being able to use equity holdings as collateral against loans, that's a big switch to flip, man. Don't you think?
Is that legal? Because why wouldn't other brokerages have done that by now?
It's legal. Right?
So why doesn't SoFi do that? What do you think?
That's big stuff.
It's fair. Yeah, I mean, because look, SoFi gives you a loan. So you're saying, hey, if you have $1 million of Tesla, could they give you a better price on the mortgage if you're getting it with SoFi?
And could you use that as some collateral?
Yeah, see, I don't know if there's actually regulations against that or if that's a thing.
That's legit. Like,
you can do that for margin, obviously, but I don't know if you can do that for a literal mortgage. That's my
right. But like, let's say they open it up to like, do you just want it as a loan, cash loan?
Yeah. IBKR does. Okay, so if IBKR does it, then SoFi.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. I think that would be a switch that SoFi could flip. It's nothing to do with Galileo, right? Isn't that a loan shark? But see how like a lot of people don't know that that's a thing. It's a thing. So I just that's a lever that's out there. I think it's very speculative.
Yeah, and look, I talked with Tanner last night about their whole loan platform thing. I think their brokerage business is relatively not important if that loan platform becomes what Tanner thinks it can become, which is essentially a middleman with zero risk of the loans on their balance sheet because they're just vetting the underwriting and connecting them with other loan companies to actually originate the loan.
Oh, wait. What about this? What if SoFi lets you use SoFi equity as collateral?
I don't think they would want to do that, but it is.
So somebody's saying, didn't Noto get loans using his SoFi shares?
That's true. He did.
Right?
That's true.
So like, if you see where I'm going with this, I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay, Trump is not live yet. Can we do Rocket Lab?
Oh my God, dude, what a call though, right? Like it was the space stocks. I'm just saying that was not anticipated. Here you go. And we said this Tuesday. It's like, look, even if you're buying here, we said this, dude. And I did, I mean, nibble, but I don't have nearly as much as I would like. God, is it up 25% today?
Dude, it was up 30% today. This thing ran. Yeah, look at that. Go click that thing again that you clicked. Look at that first headline. Space stocks rise following Trump's vow to send American astronauts. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I posted that, dude. Like, that was like my only comment on like what's going on with. I mean, where was
no, but
it?
he said that for 3 seconds in the inauguration speech.
But that's all I got, right? I was like, who else just got irresponsibly bullish on space stocks, dude? Manifest destiny to the stars and plant. Manifest destiny and plant the stars and stripes on Mars, bro.
It is inspiring. It is inspiring.
It's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Also, real quick, Jav1985, thank you for the $50 super chat. Appreciate you. I will be taking Jason out. I will be taking Jason out to a very expensive dinner when I see him in California.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Jason, are you a steak guy?
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, I'm a man of the people, bro. I gotta be straight with you. I'm a regular dude. I like a hamburger just as much as I do steak.
All right, I'm gonna get you a medium well steak. We're gonna enjoy.
No. If it's steak, I will go medium rare. Like I won't blaspheme in a steakhouse for sure.
Fine. Medium well is better though. Better. All right, Rocket Lab.
Just go medium, dude.
No, medium well, dude. I've had it 5 times at this point. I'm like, that is the perfect steak. I feel that.
Where's the place that we go to over here? It's oh my god, it's been so long.
I'm gonna take you to an expensive spot, bro.
Alexander's is over here.
All right, that's perfect.
Is it? We need a couple stars though.
No, we'll get a couple stars for sure.
Okay.
Okay, here's the question. Do you think the 30% move is justified? And then technically, is this a real breakout based on the move?
So it's a hard call. I think the red wire move today is like, that's a big deal, right? Because red wire is not just space. I think, and that's why red wire is up significantly more today than Rocket Lab. I do think that the comment about conquering Mars was just so from left field. I don't think many people were expecting that. So the market is reacting right now. Whether or not they're done reacting, I think is your question. So that is a good question. All I can do is say, hey, we can measure this move just like anything else and find out when it could be exhausted and when it could be invalidated. That's the best I can do, right? So number one, 28.93. That's the top of this area right here. 28.93 needs to hold for this move to be valid. Does that make sense? That's this last high from right over here, consolidation high. So if you do see a dip that comes in, there's a little session gap. You can see it. You'd want to get it below 29. And so somewhere around 28 to 27 is going to be as much pain as I would tolerate on a short-term trade, if that makes sense. So right here, following?
Yep.
And so what that would look like is that would look like a little dip back into what we're now going to assume is supply. So you'd want this $27 area to act as supply. You can come back in. It doesn't have to hold 29. It can come and breach it just a little bit. And you want to see buyers start to step in again. And then eventually, once it's over 29, that would be totally textbook price action right here. Aside from that, so barring that scenario, if you extend tomorrow beyond 32, 31, I mean, you're the trajectory here, this is first stop, 33.90 on Rocket Lab, eventually up to Matt's gonna like this, 36.59. And what that is again taking what we've taught for so long is on this very basic, here's your consolidation every time. So have you ever heard the term, the longer the base, the higher in space?
Yes.
It's just a term, but what it means, it's a measured move. So here's your base of a move, right? This is the move. It's up to 36.50, believe it or not. I know it's a small dollar stock, but 36.50 even from here is another 17%, which quite frankly, dude, Rocket Lab can do in its sleep. So that's regardless of whether it's from here now or back down to 27 and then up to 37, that right here, boom, is normal. Extension, this is definitively to me exhausted if we're at 45s.
So you wouldn't buy it at 30. You would give it time to.
No, you can buy it at 30. It's just how. So it doesn't matter what price you buy things at. So the truth of trading is that, welcome Tesla Dragon. The truth of trading is that it's not about your entry and exit so much as it is your sizing. So the one thing that defines a profitable trader is their ability to like size correctly, their ability to manage money, if you will. So you can buy it at $30, but not if that's your full bankroll.
It's a great point.
And you're able to buy a little bit lower if in case that happens, if that does happen.
Right. Yeah, it's a hell of a. It's like NVIDIA today. I bought it at 139, but I didn't buy 500 shares. So if I want to get to 500 shares and we dip to 130, you have more capital to buy lower.
Yeah, but I do think that the market was caught off guard. So I think that this can move. Dude, it really can move to 37. I really want to get Matt on the valuation piece because I'd have to.
Matt bought today in the pre-market at 25. He's buying.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, what's the price target?
No. Every time I ask him that, he doesn't really. He just says like $1 trillion. But like it's metaphorical because he doesn't really have one here. He just thinks this is going to be much bigger than a $12 billion company. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. So $1 trillion would be $200 stock.
Yes, basically
something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
so there's his price target. So he really could care less if it's 45 or 25.
That's pretty much his thesis. Yeah, that's his sentiment around. I mean, he got in at $4, right? So he's not really that concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's not. So to me, I have to have like nearer term targets to be able to be convicted enough to really size up. Like there are certain things that I'm like, they're not speculative to me, and I'll have like high conviction. And there are certain moments where I do have high conviction, but I also know it's a little dangerous to have high conviction because sometimes when you're really convicted on a trade, you lose a lot of money. So like, for example, actually, I'll give you one. Home Depot was a high conviction trade for me. Actually up here, because I was like, okay, statistically, I have 90% probability that if I buy Home Depot at the end of December by Q1, late Q1 or early Q2, I'm green 99% of the time. This is a real statistic, by the way, if you didn't know that. It's a hard statistic. But if you bought it here, I mean, dude, you got shellacked, which I also got shellacked because I was confident on the statistics. So I had to be able to buy it again down here. And here we are looking pretty decent. So anyways, I don't know what we're on that tangent for about conviction.
No, it's just sizing. How convicted you are as well.
Yeah, sizing helps you with that, or conviction helps you with sizing, but sometimes you get a little over your skis in terms of not needing to wait, I think was the question, or what was my point.
Shout out to Josh for the $20. He says, take the Bills plus the points against the Chiefs.
For a medium rare steak.
Do you have the Bills or the Chiefs next week?
I don't know if I could. What's the spread?
It's going to be Bills against Chiefs, right, guys? It's Bills.
Yeah, but what's the spread? I mean, okay, we're money line. I'll take the Bills as the money line.
But it's the Chiefs, dude. Like the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I feel like
I know, but that's why I was like, it depends on the spread. Oh, and so Palo Alto was another one when we talked about this.
+2. Josh says +2.
Oh, Bills +2. Okay. All right, I'll take it.
All right. I don't know football, but I know the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So
yeah, it's fair.
Guys, Trump is still not live yet. We're waiting. As soon as he's live, we'll go to the announcement.
Yeah, so we talked about Palo Alto, right? By the way, today Palo Alto was closed. So actually Cons went a little bit over 13. For them, I have a little bit left, single lot, right? But this was a purchase. These are what the trades look like, by the way, in the server. So strike, so underlying expiration, strike, and purchase price, what the stop is. That's down here for that purchase price. And with so today, I mean, when we were looking at this anyways, at the 200-day simple, like, and I said this, whatever the day this was, that 2 weeks ago, this is before Nancy. I'm like, dude, I don't have a problem buying Palo Alto right here, right now, this day. Like I just, because this would be one, again, high conviction. So it's like how you do it. So there's trades, which is what you just saw, right? So like those images and stuff, that would be trades. And then there's equity too. But I would have no problem taking equity and then having triggers and what have you on actual trades. But long-term equity, I haven't sold anything.
I think it makes sense. Nancy's also in this one. And speaking of Nancy, can we look at Tempest AI?
Dude,
I know you wanted to ape into this. I know you wanted to ape into it today.
No, I didn't, because I was just like, honestly, everything else, I was just my mood. This was my mood today, just chilling.
Turn that off. You're gonna demonetize. We can't do the music. We got copyright strike 3 times yesterday, bro.
I know, I saw that. So like yeah, that's wild. I mean, do you feel like she's not using like the public as her exit liquidity here or what?
I mean, bro, if we get a disclosure that she fucking sold, that's gonna be interesting.
It was a super small market cap though. Well, now it's 7. So.
Bought it at like 4 billion or something, 5 billion. Whatever.
Yeah. It was a good spot though, regardless. And it's a high beta stock, right? So we looked at the chart that day. Like this was a good spot in general if you were to take a technical shot. And I was thinking that, remember, I was thinking she bought $50 calls because like, okay, it could go to 50. That's what I was thinking. And here it is, dude. And she bought 20s. But I wouldn't press this because this is that center line consolidation. This is where like a lot of the congestion is from a stock perspective. So you have a lot of people kind of selling, some bought. I think you're about to find out. So I'd have to do more. I don't need to do a lot of DD on this, to be fair. Like I get what it is. I think it's good speculative stock or speculative position. And I don't know that you really care that much. 2.5 billion increase in market cap overnight because it's still 7.5, right? So I think it's more. This is more about where do you think it's going to go, because it could go significantly higher from here. But from a technical perspective, I can't say that it's really out of the weeds until it's comfortably holding $50.
That's fair. And we got Palantir 74.25 after hours. Palantir, I think, moving on the Trump AI thing, guys, but he's not live yet to make the announcement. Okay, so can we do, Jason, can we do Amazon?
Yeah. So we did do Amazon the other day, I think. Didn't we?
Did we? I feel like we haven't looked at Amazon in a minute.
Well, I took this trade the other day. So I think this is like long-term Amazon trajectory, this little staircase to the upside. And then near term, so you had what I was really kind of considering like as consolidation. So just kind of connecting these highs right there. So this, to me, it's a channel. It's an upside channel. So this was just ends up being one more higher low. I wanted it lower. This is another one where it was like, I would have gotten longer, lower, like in this area. I was like drooling for this, but this just didn't happen. I don't want to chase it here. I did end up taking it this day at like 2 something. I believe it was that day. I think these are 2 days old, my contracts. So I took options nearer term ones for like this move into earnings. So that's
is 230. Does that make sense on Amazon right here on the technicals? Like, how do you define where we are right now?
so from a near-term perspective, this is target acquired, right? So like I think you could go a little bit higher, but today, like I took like a little what I call a safety trim. So this is for trading, not investing. It's different. Trading. It's like you take your initial position. If you get a really good move really early on, more than you were necessarily expecting, we take what's called a safety trim just in case, right? Because just in case could take us to retest this line at 223, which would still be valid, any of that, right? So up in here, I know that I'm in a little bit of overhead resistant or like overhead supply, if you will. So I don't really want to press bets on Amazon here. Oh, I heard you say that you did, which is probably fine, right? Because like longer term, which I believe you are, this is again all drawings removed. This is just another damn good looking chart, man. Right. And we talked about this from the gate in terms of like what are like the top performing stocks of the year. Very seriously, Amazon on this like multi-year setup, very seriously, right? So I that does not change at all. If I were to take this and we do the same thing, consolidation here for the year, and I think we were with Sam, someone talking to Sam, and I was like 300 plus, or no, was it you 300 plus? One of you guys.
Sam's been on the 300 train for a long time. He definitely.
Well, so I have it potentially up in here. This is 350s.
Well, that's what 2027 350s, or that's end of this year 350s.
Yeah, it would have to be. I wouldn't trade like 350 strikes. I think you'll overpay through the nose for that, and you have a lot of time decay. But I have 250s right now, and I might have some 300s. Just saying, for a longer term. But I think so. This move here, I think, does get us into that same kind of area here, 257. So this is, by the way, this is a monthly chart, and all I've done is I've taken this consolidation here, just the same exact exercise. It's wild how like, just saying. So that would take you for the year to 300. So I think that's a healthy. I think that's just it's just what's going. Does that sound stupid? Like too bullish? Like, dude, that's just what's going to happen. Like, I'm just reporting. But anyways, so now this move is probably the finisher, run to that 255, 258,
right
in here. So I'd say 258 on this consolidation to finish that first step out of this multi-year base here. And by the way, Amazon doesn't make big moves all the time, right? It goes years where it goes nowhere, right? And so just so you know, Amazon went sideways for 2 years, right? And then before that, it went sideways for 2 years. So this is the personality of this stock, right? So it goes sideways for a very long time here, 2 years, and then it makes one big move, and then it goes sideways for another 2 years. That makes another big move. This one happened to rebound, but at this point, I'm still looking at this as this whole scenario where it's gearing up for the big move into the threes.
Right.
And that's the personality of this stock. You can trace that back all the way, right? Like that's just how it is, right? So 2 years, pretty much sideways, then a big move, pulls back, and then even on that pullback, this ends up being a year. So it goes on these kind of like breakout stents.